Try this again. Technical difficulties. Been a while since I went live. What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY.
And Migs.
And welcome to our live recap / review of Camp Zool 4.
Why are we yelling?
I'm sorry, I'm excited.
I feel
And I'm
like you're
flustered.
so loud.
I feel like I gotta yell. I gotta be loud or whatever, just because. But yeah, if you don't know, Camp Zool 4 took place last weekend. And if you do know, then maybe you were expecting this. And if not, we wanted to do this recap / review because it was our first ever Camp Zool. We're very happy, and this will probably be the first of many. And
we also decided to do it live because I've been pumping out a lot of live streams and videos regarding camp, like vlog style. And I've gotten a lot of questions if the concerts are indoors, what's camp like, what's the camping situation, what do the grounds look like. We've got a lot of questions on my videos, and so we decided to kind of do it live stream style. That way we could answer questions in live time.
And then not only that, but I also wanted to, as someone who's been to 4 gatherings, you've been to 3, this being our first camp,
Let's not make it a competition, okay?
I just want to kind of give some comparisons as well for anyone who's been to a gathering, never been to a camp, they're curious about camp, and they've thought themselves about going. So that's more or less also why I wanted to do this as well.
Right. So the plan, the template that we have is some peaks and some pits. We're probably going to start with the pits first, right?
Knock those out.
Knock those out. There's not that many. But we want to save all the positivity for the end of the live stream. And usually more people join later anyways, so.
Yeah. And, that way we can also kind of open the panel for questions. If you have questions.
Yeah, and then we're going to open the panel. Well, the whole live stream, you guys can ask questions.
Right. Ask away as it goes on. And then we might maybe kind of do a day-by-day recap.
I just want to clarify, because you said open it up to questions, and I want to clarify that I would rather them ask questions the whole live stream so that we can address things as we go on topic.
I absolutely misspoke, so yes, I just kind of meant when we get to a point where we don't really have anything else left to say, we could, mainly talk with the chat and answer any questions that everyone might have. Mm-hmm. So, I guess, do you want to get things started?
With the pits?
With the pits.
Okay. So the pits are... And I just want to clarify, we're not dogging on anybody, and I'm fully aware that some of these pits are out of Zool's control.
Right. They kind of land in the favor of land in the lap of the venue itself.
But we want to share these things to help improve camp and also to help others be aware what you're signing up for.
Right.
Okay.
And then who knows? Maybe somebody at what's the name of the venue? Help me out. I'm struggling.
I think I kind of already said that. Like, they might help improvements be made, and also to let people know what they're getting into.
Right.
Because one of these pits might be a deal breaker for you. So I want to make sure people are aware of everything, but I'm not nitpicking. I just want to clarify that. We're just sharing our experience. So I'm going to just list them off. And DC, if there's details you want to add to it, go for it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So the first pit was inside the tavern, which is where the bar and the concerts were. There was a stage inside there. Was way too hot. The biggest issue was a combination of the 2, I don't know what you call them, not return vents, but they were like
exhaust vents.
Exhaust fans that you'd have in a bathroom. Were very small in this massive barn, and they had 2, one on each corner. Way too small, and they allowed smoking inside the tavern, which I understand, you can't really control that. But the mixture of the heat and the smoke, it was so, it was hard to breathe in there. My eyes were burning out of my eyeballs.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be a huge pit. They need to add bigger exhaust fans in that barn. It was a massive barn. They could have put 4 to 6 vents on each wall. Yeah. At the very peak of it is an A-frame. That would have helped tremendously. And then maybe add some more fans down below to kind of get the air circulating so that it sucks the smoke and the heat out. It was pretty bad. And I would say, I can handle heat.
Yeah.
I'll go mow in the hottest part of the day, and it was bad for me.
Yeah, it was
so
pretty
just
hot.
be aware of that. But that being said, outside the tavern, they had like a covered porch, and people sat out there during the shows. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be in the pit, or you can't take the heat,
Yeah,
there was an area to
hot.
sit out there, and it did storm at one point.
Yeah.
And people were on that covered porch, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
So
Good shelter. And I will say, and if you
don't
haven't...
let it deter you, but just be aware.
Yeah. And so one of the things I wanted to point out, and because I kind of agree with you, it was very hot, which is out of their control. Obviously, you can't really put air conditioning in those buildings.
No, but they could put more exhaust vents.
And there was, at one point, I thought there was only one little ceiling fan in there, and I did find there was a total of 3, but they're very small.
I was seeing 2.
There was 3 that I saw,
there?
for sure. I kind of had made the joke, I don't know if you've been in the lawn and garden center at Walmart. They have a big ass metal fan. I joked that maybe they need one of those. But I did see in Zool's Discord server, Billy Obey was like asking for feedback, and somebody had mentioned something about fans, and he did say that they want to bring bigger fans for the tavern. So they're
But
already...
it's only going to do so much if they don't get bigger or more exhaust fans. If they don't put more exhaust fans in there to help circulate that, it's not going to do anything.
At the very, very least, that should help move some air, though, because...
But they don't have back doors open. They only have the front door open, and the exhaust fans were like this big. It's not going to do much.
Right. So, Terror Town themselves should definitely add vents, but
yes.
I don't know too much about their open seasons. I know they're
Maybe
mainly...
they would let Zooligans donate exhaust fans, and then they'll install it.
Because I know they're mainly like a Halloween attraction.
Right.
Is what they're known for.
That's just something to be aware of. The other thing is water station. There was no water station.
Yeah.
That's a huge downfall. There needs to be some kind of fresh water station for people to refill bottles. For sure. And also, I think like a little sprinkler area would be cool for people to run through.
Which, again, Billy Obey did say they're looking into getting a mist tent for next year. So that's good.
Yeah, but they need a fresh drinking water station.
I do know I'd seen a lot of people prior to it. The Long Live Evil Street team. I even think the ticket booth lady had some. They were giving out waters. It just was a matter of people asking for them. So I agree. Having an actual station where you could just fill your own would be better.
But for the camp, I was the mule. I was the one that got tasked with carrying the water.
Yeah.
So as the person that was carrying 10 bottles of water for the 2 of us, it was a lot on my back.
Right.
It would have been nice if you and I could have just took 1 water bottle each and refilled it.
Right.
But me having to carry all that water around camp was a lot on my back.
Agreed.
And when you get hot and the sweat on your back, it's just not pleasant. It would have been really nice for a fresh water refill station.
Yeah. And, yeah, there's things we also could do ourselves to help plan a little better for it, too. But, yeah. I agree, and I felt bad that you carried it around a lot. So,
what could we have done to alleviate that?
I've seen a couple people with wagons with like coolers in them. Would be an idea. Would be one thing we could do.
Yeah,
a
fresh cold water station would have been really nice.
Yeah,
drinkable water.
Real quick, want to say what's up to Echo Side Fiend and our trade number
Timmy's
1.
Here. Hi, Timmy. You missed out on camp. Where were you?
We were really hoping he'd make it down.
We saved you a parking spot and everything.
All
right, second or third pit is probably the biggest one for me. Was the pathways were gravel, which was fine, but every couple feet there would be a monster of a stone. I don't know who the hell laid that gravel, but legit, I almost broke my ankle 10 times, and I watched like 20 other people almost fall and break their ankles in the daylight.
Yeah.
It was legit dangerous at night to walk on that gravel, and I wasn't wearing flip-flops. Like, I was being careful, and the whole time I'm walking, I'm like staring at the ground, which also isn't good for you. I don't know. I feel like they could pay someone just for an hour of labor to go pick out those, maybe 200 stones, if that. There weren't that many.
Yeah.
They were just like random, like in the middle of nowhere, just a big ass stone. It was like the weirdest thing ever because there was like normal gravel. Yeah. That was a huge, that's probably the worst, the biggest pit for me. The whole thing was because I felt like I couldn't walk very fast. And every time I walked, it was like just staring for those rocks that would just, blend in.
Yeah. There was one time I remember stepping on them and I kind of like, ah!
Yeah.
It's definitely a poor choice in the gravel because it's a higher grade gravel rather than smaller. Like the pea gravel we have in our backyard would be perfect.
I guess the other thing to keep in mind too is that those big rocks kind of make it un-wheelchair accessible. If it wasn't for those big ass random boulders in the middle of the walkway, I feel like camp would have been very wheelchair accessible.
Absolutely.
So I feel like if you have the limitation, I would say as long as you bring somebody with you, you'd probably be fine to go to camp. They had like 5 different bathrooms. They had outhouses in the parking lot. They had outhouses and camp. Then the camp itself, like the property owners had bathrooms and trailers, which actually were not that bad. It was fucking hot in there, let me tell you. It was in a trailer. But it wasn't, they were kept pretty clean and pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then they had 2 wheelchair accessible ground level porta potties. That's what I would say. Like if you have those kind of limitations, I would say you would be fine to go to camp, but I would bring somebody with just because the gravel is really rough.
Just to help you get around in case you get to
in case you need pulled instead of push, like that kind of situation because of the gravel. But everything else was pretty accessible. They even had tons of wooden park benches, which is also
picnic
a peak that we'll get into later. But yeah.
And on that note, though, too, I would say that even if you don't have someone to bring with you, you got to remember, like 95% of Zooligans are juggalos. Like, and I would say a lot of the Zooligans I met are like good-hearted juggalos. The kind. People always say like juggalos will help each other out. Zooligans are exactly the same way. So you also could very well have someone that's willing to help you.
Yeah, but if you have to get to the bathroom in a hurry and you can't get to that gravel, it's going to be an issue.
So, yeah, I would definitely say plan to have someone go with if you are in a wheelchair or have some kind of physical limitations. But I would say your likelihood of making it to a camp successfully with those limitations is higher than getting around at the gathering.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially at Legend Valley because it is hilly.
Yeah, there really wasn't any hills there. The most you had were like 1 or 2 steps getting into buildings. And the bathrooms that the camp owns were 5 steps to get in and out. They were up in a trailer, but they had a railing, and it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah. I didn't end up using, the only thing I used was the porta potties in the parking lot. It was the only time I ended up having to use the bathroom. Mm-hmm. But I think Shawnzy said when he went to use it that the men's was literally just a horse trough.
I looked.
Which is cool.
No, I
It
investigated.
works.
I checked it out. They do have a stall in there.
Yeah. It works. You can cross streams with your neighbor.
The other pit would be that they need to have more activities going on.
Yes.
I think that it's going to be a slow thing as camp progresses.
Yeah.
To implement more events. And then I'd have another pit of not being able to watch the VIP event.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't allowed. And trust me, your girl tried for the vlog. I asked 3 different employees. They would not let us go back and watch it.
Yeah, there's a good
and
3
I didn't
or 4
even mention I was going to film. I just like, our friend's doing it. Can we go watch? Nope.
Yeah. Granted, it is VIP, but what they did is it was called the Buried Alive Experience. We had seen pictures and a video clip of how they did it. They didn't actually get put in the ground. They were kind of above ground in a casket, and then they would throw dirt over top of it. So it's not like they dug a 6-foot grave and lowered you in it. It sounded like a really cool experience. I would have loved to be able to watch that. I would have probably maybe have considered if they had like a spectator VIP pass where you didn't actually have the experience of getting buried alive, but you got merch and just got to watch. That would be something that would have been kind of cool.
They could have had some kind of tethered rope up that we could have spectated from a distance.
Yeah, because they put it on the public timeline. Mm-hmm. So everyone knew what was going on, and I think there was a lot of people that wanted to see that. Because I heard at least 5 people ask, are we allowed to watch? Not just counting us.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like 5 other people that were like, hey, are we allowed to watch? And there was a lot of people kind of let down by that. Would have been cool, but I also get it. It's supposed to be VIP. They paid the money to go through it and have kind of that one-on-one interaction with, AXE. But on the same hand, AXE did roam the grounds throughout the event. So did Funtime Guys. So did S.O.N. And that's the thing that we kind of talked about, and I had mentioned it a couple times at camp, that I feel like Camp Zool is very much still in its infancy. The first camp was in November. It was kind of a test. So Camp Zool 2 was really kind of the first. It was the first time in the summer. So, this, if you really want to look at it, this was kind of the third year they had it during the summer months. So I think it's still very much in its infancy of they're still trying to figure out what can we add, how can we build on this, things like that.
I did want to touch on, Timmy said he wished he could have made it maybe next year, and I think, Timmy, if the gathering's not quite your cup of tea, this event in particular, I feel like you would have really enjoyed.
Yeah. But yeah, to touch on the activities thing, that was one thing that I kind of brought up is I feel like it's still in its infancy. They didn't have a too terrible amount of stuff going on during the day. Pretty much you really only needed to get there around 3 p.m. and that's when some of the Q&As happened, seminar stuff like that.
Okay.
Which was good and it was helpful for, getting there late and staying late into the night. There's not a lot of late night stuff going on either, so you really only had about
one thing each night that was late night.
Yeah, and I definitely liked it.
One night they had killer karaoke.
Yeah.
One night they had the zombie luau.
Right. Which for me it was kind of a good thing too, because with this being our first camp, this being our first time, for those who don't know, this was our first time taking our pets with us. We're no longer boarding them, we're no longer leaving them, they are coming with us. So they stay at our hotel room, and halfway through we have to leave and we have to go let them out. So for us it was also a learning experience of how can we improvise and improve on that part too. Because there are things we ended up missing from having to go and do that. We'd go get dinner, we'd let the dogs out, then we would come back, and there was some stuff that we had and unfortunately missed. Like I missed seeing Shy One and Kung Fu Vampire coming out, or no, it wasn't Kung Fu Vampire. It was Boondocks and Buckshot came out with Shy One.
Yeah, they had a surprise guest every year, I think, and this year was Boondocks and Light was there.
Boondocks and Light was there. I did get to catch that. But, that kind of, that also kind of jumps back to it being really hot, because I decided not to go in and watch Buckshot because I had seen him before multiple times and it was just so hot in there. So we sat it out. I did decide to go in and get a couple clips for her vlog, which I never sent you the videos, so they're not in your vlog. I guess I should probably
No, but
post
you can
them
still send them to me and I'll make a separate video of I'll title it "The Shit That DC Forgot to Send to Me" or something.
There you go. The shit at Camp You Missed thanks to DC. Something like that. I did decide to go in and get a couple clips, and one of the times I went in, Boondocks came out, which was really cool, and then the very next song, Light, then came out. So they showed up and did surprise sets, which was really, really fucking cool. But yeah, so I feel like camp is still kind of growing. It's definitely growing. I feel like it's in its infancy still. And I think there's definitely things that they're working on, obviously, because Billy Obey asking for that feedback. I know he had said, one of the other things I thought he had said too was, and I don't know if it was joking or not, but they wanted to do more late night stuff. They wanted to do more things after the concerts are over.
He said that there was a lot of complaints about it being too hot, and that was one of his solutions.
Oh yeah, do it later in the night.
But that was all the pits that I had, and I have a lot of peaks. So do you want to get into that?
What number do the peaks?
Unless you have anything else you'd like to say for the pits.
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, I'll just get right into it. Some of the peaks where the parking lot was so well organized, you guys, and so nicely done. And going in with the parking lot, I would like to also kind of attach the camping situation. They had the parking lot divided in half. Half was for camping, half was for parking. It was amazing. Everybody was so respectful of keeping their space, parking as straight as possible, not boxing people in. It was really nice. And
I want to give another testament to how respectful Zooligans can be. Because when we first got there, it was all intermingled. The whole parking lot, it's a pretty big parking lot. And there was camps here, 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 and there. When we were in waiting on the merch line, one of the, I guess you'd say, crew members, I think his name is Pret Zool, he was going around on the golf carts, and he had mentioned something about how he had to go out because he came up and asked who was camping. They basically had to separate camping and parking. And the very next day, we had heard someone say, they basically, the same thing. They were like, man, can we just say how fucking awesome it is that the Zooligans did not give any hassle? Within 30 minutes,
shit was organized.
They got it all organized. People moved without issue. They got their camps reset back up. There was no complaints, no problems whatsoever, which is fucking awesome.
One thing too that I also really liked was.
Carry on.
You good?
I'm clearing my ear out. Leave me alone.
Like a bull over here. Both the camping section, I would say the camping section was probably a little bit more fuller because people were spaced out. But both the camping and the parking lot was about half empty, which was so nice. There was just options, you know? Park by your friends, camp by your friends. And it's in that, like you said, infancy stage still, where it's still small enough, where it's not like, a nightmare to, like, at the gathering, there's so many people camping in the parking spots, taking up 4 or 5 parking spots. People who were hotel camping can't even get fucking parking into the gathering.
Yeah, because we
and it's just a nightmare. It wasn't like that at all at camp, so that was really nice, honestly.
It was really nice.
Moving on, among the courtesy that we noticed, the merch line was an actual fucking line.
It was very organized.
It was indoors, and they would let in about 5, 6, 7 people max at a time.
Yeah. It was posted 5 at a time, but there was sometimes they would let 1 or 2 extra come in. They weren't super strict on it, but they were also
everyone
trying to
was in
maintain
line.
that.
They would let like 5 people at a time, and you just got to you only had to fight those 5 people.
And there was no rushing. You took your time. You looked at everything.
It was very intimate. It was like, what do I want to buy? And then you kind of like picked it out, and then you paid for it, and they give you a little bag, and then you one in, one out. It was really nice and intimate. It was a long wait, but it was so nice not have to fight 50 people for merch. Right. And just share that space with like 4 other people.
Right. It was a long line, but you didn't get to the front and then have to fight with a row of 20 fucking people who are just kind of interjecting themselves. Oh, yeah, I want this, and this. You know what I mean? Like, they let you in, the door closes, you can hear. You can easily communicate what you need to communicate.
Hearing.
Which I will say, they had fans in there because it was, it was hot out. So they did have fans on, but you could still hear very well because you didn't have a fucking crowd of people in there, all with, overlapping talking. Mm-hmm. Super nice.
Yeah, that was nice. And among the courtesy, too, I want to talk about the CD limit. I don't know if you have.
I do.
Yeah. For Super Famous Fun Time Guys released a camp exclusive CD. And the way that they did this was so beautiful done. They had everybody get in a straight line outside. They let everybody get you could only purchase 1 CD per person. It didn't matter if you were buying it for your friend, your spouse, it didn't matter. 1 CD per person for $10.
Yeah.
Then after everyone went through the line, there was 10 CDs left, and they let people get back in line to buy doubles.
Yeah.
I loved that. Because they announced, like, hey, there's 10 left, and then people, rush back in line.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice to know that, okay, we don't have to, fight and, Hollow Wicked singles and stuff, you know. It was very nicely organized.
Very much so.
Wooden park benches is another huge peak for me that the gathering is missing.
Yeah, lots of picnic tables, which, it's a super gathering in 2019. I don't think we'll ever see picnic tables at the gathering because that shit will just get burned.
But what was so nice was they have these picnic tables so separated. Some in the shade, some in the sun, depending on the time of the day. And really, our group didn't really have to fight for any.
No.
We had to share a few times, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I would still strongly advise taking a camping chair, which we took 1 and just shared it. Because those benches hurt your back and stuff.
Right.
But you could, if you were someone who doesn't need to sit very often, you could totally get away with not even having to hassle with the camping chair. Because there's lots of seating outside.
Yeah.
Now, if it's raining or something, you're screwed. But yeah.
And I imagine they'll add more because while we were there, they were actually building onto Terror Town. They're expanding it. And I did see, one of the other things I seen Billy Obey say is he wanted to bring fans for the saloon unless they managed to figure out the outdoor stage. So I think they're planning on trying to get an outdoor stage. Even.
Well, they had a projector area outside.
I know.
Which I think would be a really good idea for late night movies. I'm just saying.
Yo. And I planted a little seed. I actually took a picture and I sent it to Loke.
You did?
And I said, I'm just saying this would be really good for VR chat. And then I understand Robbie from Do It for the Underground said he was going to talk to some people.
Yeah, because I suggested
on the other end.
that he needs to do a virtual concert there because he has all the equipment already at home. The only thing Zool would need to do is get a projector set up.
Yeah. And I mean, easily somebody could bring one. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Another peak was that Camp Zool was near hotels, it was near restaurants, and it was near, like, family activities. So if you're someone who has kids, you could bring, you know, like a grandparent or in-law or somebody to come with you to camp, and they could stay at the hotel with the kids and go do an activity every day. And there would be Cincinnati Zoo, there's museums, there's parks, there's water parks. Kings Island wasn't that far.
Jungle Gym was there.
So, like, while you are at camp, like, your family could be, like, there's family activities to do, which I thought was really, really cool. Camp
was was maybe 20-minute drive from Cincinnati. So, very close. You know, very easily could go do something in the mornings, which is something we did on one of the days. We went to Jungle Gyms.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, the stuff didn't really start happening at camp until the afternoon. So one of the mornings we went over to fucking Jungle Gyms and rushed through it, and within 2 hours we still hadn't seen half of that store.
So I think next time we go to camp, we need to do another Jungle Gym video, because I did a video for Jungle Gym. It's not live yet, but it's only showing like half the store.
Yeah.
So we need to do the other half.
Absolutely.
The half we missed, the American side.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, but yeah, that would be really good for families, and especially if you have kids. There were a couple kids at camp, but I personally would not advise that. There wasn't enough kids there. I would not recommend it.
Right. Unless they get a little, what do they call those? Jump houses? Something for the kids.
The reason I say that is because there was a girl there with 2 young boys that was running around barefoot, and inside the tavern someone had dropped a pipe, and it shattered everywhere, and I was like, please do not let your kids run in here. There's shattered glass everywhere. They have not cleaned it up yet. That made me really nervous.
Yeah.
So I would, and there just wasn't enough for kids to do. Like, you could tell those kids were kind of getting bored a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, for sure.
There was maybe 2 or 3 like young teenagers. I want to say like 14, 15-year-olds. But as far as kids, I think I seen 2 or 3 at max.
Right.
And there just wasn't a lot for them to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wouldn't advise it, but you could if you wanted. It was a very family-friendly event. They just did not have enough for kids. Like, if they had a bouncy house or something, that might be different.
Right.
So.
Start a daycare. Are you still, do you have another peak you want to talk about?
Or? I have tons of peaks. I have that they have different bathroom options. I love that. I love the parking lot and event ratio walking distance where, like, it was far enough apart where you could camp in quietness and get some sleep or whatever away from, like, the activities of the event, but not so far that's like, ugh, I forgot something in the car. Like, you could walk to the car, no problem. It really wasn't that bad.
Like, I would say the distance, let's say you go to Walmart, half the parking lot's full, and so you had to park maybe halfway back. I would say from that parking spot to the front...
Walmart is different. That is not a good comparison. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't.
Okay, I would say this. Maybe 1 city block from the parking lot to the inside. Not that far at all. Like there was multiple times I was like, yeah, I'll run back to the car real quick, grab something, and come back. Mm-hmm. Super easy, super nice, super convenient.
I have one more peek, and then I have one thing left to say. And the last peek I have is that the food vendors were having weekend deals, so you could buy, like, let's say they had a slushie machine there. You could buy a slushie for like $5, or you could buy it for $9 and get a reusable cup, and then you'd have like $2 refills all weekend.
Yeah.
So I like that they offered that, and I was like, man, the Gathering should do that kind of stuff. If the Gathering could sell like tumblers with handles, kind of like Indiana Beach or Kings Island or Disney World would have like a handle cup.
Right.
That you could carry around and just get refills all weekend for like $1 or something. That would be really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's it. I mean, there's probably more, but I just loosely wrote this up.
I have a peak that I'm also going to kind of tether it to a pit. And this is so one peak I would say is, again, everyone's really friendly. There is like the timeline isn't so cramped with things to do where you have to pick and choose. It's all like in a row. It goes from one to the next to the next to the next to the next. So if there's something you're not really wanting to see, you have downtime to hang out with friends. And I know there's a lot of people who in the past have said that when the lineup at the gathering sucks, they go, "Oh, I'm not going for the lineup. I'm going for the family. I'm going to hang out with such and such." Camp caters to that very, very well because it's not so crazy busy that you just don't have time to meet up with people. Like, I would say a good 50% of what you're going to be doing, or 75% of what you're going to be doing at camp, is hanging out with homies and watching shows together. Because you don't have to
sitting
split
outside
up.
on the park benches, just chilling or watching a show at night.
So, and that would kind of bring it back to the pit of the activities. They had, what's his name? Andy Sherman was there. If you don't know who he is, he does the For Juggalos by Juggalos, which is, it's their own little kind of movement of being unified through gaming. Like, their whole thing is kind of like keeping the spirit of the Dark Carnival Games Convention alive. They go to a lot of events and have little tournaments and things like that. They were there, but they weren't really given, I felt, a great space to have a setup. And that would be one thing I would like to see possibly implemented better, is maybe daytime activities where the For Juggalos by Juggalos are there hosting gaming things.
Yeah.
Because our homie Gage was there, and he's really into Magic the Gathering. And there was one night, I know he was trying to sit down and have a game of Magic the Gathering going, especially with Lee Carver, who I come to find out is like a master of Magic the Gathering. And I think having the space and the ability to sit down and play games during the day.
Space. They had like foldable chairs and tables set up, but no lighting. And
Right.
it was like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play, and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, I would play, but you got to get more lighting."
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to work on that." And I seen him asking a few people, and then next time that I popped my head in to check, he was packing up. So I was like.
So he was trying to arrange a game and he was unable to. And I would love to see an actual event at camp catered to that, to the gamers that want to go. Because I honestly, and I don't think I told you this, I might have, I felt like the energy of the camp for anyone who went was super similar to the DCG Con. Because yes, the DCG Con had things going on. There was tournaments going on. They had the free games library. But most of what we did at DCG Con was hang out with friends and play games. What we did at camp was hang out with friends and just catch up and bullshit. Mm-hmm. So if we would have brought games, we could have been playing games. Or if they had provided games, if they would have had a setup for it, if they work hand in hand with the For Juggalos by Juggalos to have gaming going on, that would be the perfect environment. And to me, it would bring that atmosphere, that spirit of the Dark Carnival Games Convention, and they could have it there at camp. I think that would be really cool.
We already discussed too, this is our first year, so we didn't know, but next year we plan to take a canopy, our extra camping chairs, and when we have a table, and then when we have downtime, we're going to go set that shit up in the parking lot. We're going to bring a mask and machetes, we'll bring it to the Echo side.
I'd love to actually take it into camp if they would let us. Like, let them search our stuff. And that was the other good thing I would say as a peak. They had really good security.
They did not.
You don't think so?
They checked my bags for weapons, but not my pockets. You know how many weapons I can fit in my pockets?
Fair point. Okay, peak and pit. They had good security that checked you every day, and
I literally got so sick of that I, taking my backpack on and off, I would just turn and say, "Okay, look in, dig in, dig."
Yeah, I know.
And they would kind of like half-ass dig in there, like, "All right, you're good." I'm like,
right.
I'm not taking this shit on and off. It's too hot. I got too much carrying. But yeah, we decided we're gonna take all that stuff next year, and we have downtime in the evening or whatever. We can go out to the parking lot when it's nice and cool and be underneath the canopy, or in the morning before it gets too hot. We can go play games out there.
Well, I'm thinking that area...
We'll take a fan, we'll take a battery converter.
Yeah, I'm thinking that area where Funtime was set up selling their album. They had those 3 picnic tables. I'm thinking over in there, set up a canopy, a table of our own.
But not when it's in full sun.
Yeah, maybe early evening, late afternoon would be good.
I mean, I guess we could take a wagon and the canopy and everything and set up at that table there and play.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah. But I would love to actually, I kind of want to plan that out with like Gage and other people that are going to go that would want to play,
I think
or
we should
even
just do it. We should just take it, and then everyone wants to play can play, and like
And
it
then,
just is what it is.
Yeah, and then
I don't think you should plan it too much.
Well, what I mean by plan it is just tell them like, hey, we're going to do this, and we'll be there. Come play. Why don't you come play with me and take me to the other side?
The other thing too, I guess I would say to people who are thinking about going, it is most definitely not a party scene like the gathering. There were not a lot of, I mean, I seen weed, but that was about it.
Yeah.
There wasn't like drugs. There wasn't a lot of drinking. There was drinking, but not like a lot. So I would say if that's something you love about the gathering, it's just like the party scene, and there's always something going on until like 3 a.m. This is probably not the event for you. You probably wouldn't enjoy it because there just wasn't that going on.
And if you're like me and that's really not if you're not a partier, I'm not a partier, Camp Zool is perfect for you. You don't see fucking nitrous canisters all over the place. I didn't see a single one
Not
while we were
one.
there. I didn't hear a single person other than our friend, and I won't put him on blast. Him doing it day one before we even got into the event. He was in his car doing it, which is fine, whatever. But you didn't see it everywhere. You didn't see balloons everywhere. You didn't see the canisters everywhere. You didn't see people doped up beyond their fucking
There
limits.
really wasn't a lot of trash either.
It wasn't too much trash. I mean, there was pot and there were
Bathrooms
people.
were actually nice, you guys.
Yeah, there were people that were smoking and drinking, but that was like it. Like they were getting comfortable and cutting loose like that, but nothing crazy. I would say not even an eighth of as bad as you see it at the gathering. And that's kind of, I think, my biggest peak. And obviously they need it to grow, and I would love to see it grow because then they can add more things and do more things. But one of the big things right now, and if you've never been and you want to go, I would say go very soon because there's not a bunch of people. It's a fraction of what's at the gathering, and honestly, the gathering is more of a festival now where there's so many people who are quote unquote not juggalos. They're there. They're festival, what's the word for it? Festival. There are people that go to festival. There's people that go to festivals going to the gathering that really don't know much about the scene, and they're just there to fucking party because that's what they do. They want to party. And I did not experience that. I would say damn near every person I saw at Camp Zool was a Zooligan of some sort, or they were a fan of a musician that was performing at the event. They were there because they wanted to be there, not because they were there just to sell drugs or they were there just to party. Yeah. Like they were there because they wanted to actually be at this event and interact with people and actually be there for what it was. And that to me was magical. To me it felt like the core of the gathering. Granted, my first gathering was Gathering 17, and I think at that point it was already well into being a festival. So I can't really compare, but I've heard people say that camp reminds them of the early days of the gathering. Multiple people had said that to me, and I can see it. I can see it because it was very intimate. Not a lot of people. It wasn't crazy. Probably one of my biggest peaks about Camp Zool was that. And I told more than one person that Camp Zool is probably going to replace the gathering for me. I will probably be content going to Camp Zool forever going forward.
I think the fact that both of our tickets together were less than one gathering ticket allowed us to pay the extra deposit on the hotel for our dogs because we had to take them with us this time. It gave us a little bit extra money for gas. I don't want to say that we're not going to go to the gathering ever again because I would really like to. I think financially we're going to have to sit out this year. Yeah. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that I'm content.
Moving forward, I think that this event will be much more affordable for us, and we'll get to have the same type of memories that we love about the gathering, which is hanging out with our friends, going to concerts, just the whole vibe itself.
Right. So that kind of really takes it back to what Echo said earlier.
He said, "Don't forget Hollow Wicked." Well, you're not gonna be too happy because we've already been debating that already because the same event is having a Halloween event. What's it called?
There's speculations that Night of the Zooligans, which is Ala Zulilu's yearly Halloween event, is going to be at Terror Town again. It was last year.
So
and
if
to
that's
me,
the case, we'll be torn between Fright Fest and Hollow Wicked and this event.
Yeah.
And we've talked about possibly doing. I know Timmy's gonna be so mad when I say this.
We're gonna say along. No.
Let me just, Timmy, make sure you're sitting down. We have been discussing skipping every other year for Hollow Wicked because every other year is Unity Fest.
Right.
And Unity Fest, Fright Fest, and Hollow Wicked are back to back 3 days in a row. So we've been toying with, doing that one year and then doing something else and then going back, because that makes the hotel costs and the gas getting up to Michigan so much more worth it when we're doing a 3-day event.
Yeah.
It's like a whole vacation at that point. We go up
Right.
there for 4 or 5 days and it's like a whole vacation. So we've just been toying with that because it is a drive to get to Detroit and it is expensive to get a hotel.
And I will brace you for this now, Echo Side Feet. If Night of the Zooligans falls on a weekend, if it falls on a weekend, there's no questions about it. I'm going to go to Night of the Zooligans over Hollow Wicked.
He said, what the hell are you guys even talking about? You are talking crazy.
Hollow Wicked...
We haven't decided. It's just something we're talking about is skipping every other year.
Right. That way, Unity Fest is there. We can go to 3 events and make it a mini vacation. Because last Hollow Wicked was really good. I really enjoyed it. Aside from the long-ass line at the Majestic Theater. Or, I'm sorry, the Masonic Temple.
But it was so nice doing Unity Fest, Fright Fest.
Yes.
It was like such a... God, it was just like so much going on. It was just like...
It was more of a bang for our buck.
Yeah.
Because we got to go up and have that 4-day weekend and make it a little vacation. Rather than going for one night and come back.
And not just that, we went to go see like the Canadian border one day. We went and did other stuff,
So I am very much leaning towards Night of the Zooligans this year. And again, if it falls on a weekend, I'm definitely going to Night of the Zooligans over Hollow Wicked, just because Hollow Wicked falls in the middle of the week, and that makes it a lot more difficult to get there. It's a long drive for us. So.
But Timmy, you could drive to our house, which is kind of like halfway, but not really.
Right.
Crash, and then the next day, you can carpool with us to Night of the Zooligans. Just saying.
This is true.
I'm just saying.
Big facts.
Big facts, no cap. So did you want to switch gears and go into the day-by-day thing that you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, I'll kind of go through the recap of it all. Day one.
Day one was awful for me, but... Other than that, the whole weekend was amazing.
Did you touch on that at all?
I did not. I was toying if I should do a video.
Do you want to touch on it
If I should include it in like a vlog, or if I should just do it on the live stream and get it over with, because it might bring awareness to other people.
Yeah, I would say
I'm like utterly
humiliated.
humiliated.
I would say go ahead and touch on it here.
Oh.
I feel like this is the space to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think we should tiptoe around it. I think we should be forthcoming. But this is also, it's also kind of a PSA for people, like you said.
Yeah, because it's something I never thought would happen to me. And then it happened to me, and I'm like, God damn it.
I touched her butthole with my finger.
So, day one, I passed out. Not on drugs. I just passed out. We think my sugar dropped too low. It was super scary. I have, no memory of, 10 minutes of my life, and I'm still trying to, cope with that disassociation of, I'm missing part of my life that I can't compute. So, recently, I've lost some weight, and I, plateaued, and I want to lose, 20 to 50 pounds more to be at my ideal weight. And my dad suggested, well, why don't you cut sugar out? That might help you get over your plateau. So I did for 3 weeks or so, and everything was going really good. And then I went to camp, and I think it just plummeted too much with being dehydrated, and I didn't eat that morning. I think my sugar dropped, and we stood outside with Shanzi and Coma for a couple hours, and then we stood in line.
And we didn't. Honestly, I was bad about it too. We didn't do the best at staying hydrated, waiting to get into camp. So once we finally went up and got in line, we were 2 or 3 people away from getting to the ticket booth. They only had 2 little windows open, but they had a third window, And for me, my recollection of what happened is Megs was by me on the right side. Chris from Deck One Out was on the other side of you, or he was in front of you.
Yeah, and everybody in the whole fucking camp seeing me fall flat on my fucking ass. It's so humiliating.
She grabs my arm almost like she was going to lead me to the third window. She takes 2 steps forward, and I'd see her just fall forward from where she...
Well, you said I, like, fell on my knees.
Yeah, you went knee first, and then...
My whole legs are so bruised up, and that's part of, like... I feel like my camp experience would have been better because if I didn't have that, because my hand was all tore up, so I couldn't, like, hold anything in my hand, because I had literally, like, it was all scabby and everything. My knees were all bruised. I was legit paranoid that I was going to pass out again. So anytime I got just a little bit queasy or a little bit dizzy, I would go sit down right away because I was, like, paranoid. Mm-hmm. For me, I had, like, a little bit of, like, in my stomach, like, almost anxiety. And I kind of told myself, like, oh, you're just excited for camp. And then it just, like, it fucking hit me. I was like, oh, I need to sit down. This feels weird. And in my head, I told you, like, oh, I need to go sit down. I'll be right back. And I walked towards there was a chair in the corner, and apparently none of that happened. Yeah. And I vaguely woke up because someone was, like, tapping my shoulders. And there was, like, a sheriff, like, right in my face. And I remember just thinking, like, why are you in my face? That's weird. Yeah. And then DC's, like, trying to hand me water, and I'm, like, so dizzy. Yeah. And that just felt like such a long time, and I'm, like, trying to get my bearings, like, you're getting out of bed too fast. And I'm looking around, I'm like, there's, like, gravel everywhere. I'm like, what the? And I'm like, oh, my God, am I on the ground? And then, like, I don't remember anything after that. And then I, like, come to, and I'm sitting in, like, a camping chair, which I don't remember how I got there. I have, like, an empty water bottle, which you said I drank it. I don't remember drinking it. Yeah. And then, like, I'm, like, trying to pick the pieces together, because the sheriff come back over, and he's like, hey, if you change your mind, and you do want me to call somebody, like, let me know. I can always call someone, just let me know. Yeah. And I was like, that's a weird thing to say. And then, like, you just had, like, this concerned look on your face, and I'm looking at the crowd, and the whole fucking line of people staring at me, and I was like, oh my God, I fucking...
They were probably just
and then it just, like, hit me, and I'm just like, damn. Like, I've always been the one that's there for people that happens to. Yeah. I'm always the one that's, like, jumps into, like, action, and for that to be me was, like, awful. And then all fucking weekend, which I know it was people caring... But all weekend, it was, like, someone coming up, you feeling better? And I was like, what'd you see me fall on my ass too? Like, it was just, like, constantly being, like, reminded of it. And it's just, like, yeah. I have no idea how many people seen or who's seen or
I don't fully
if someone took a picture or I have no idea. Like, I don't remember, like, whole, like, 15 minutes of it just all foggy. Yeah. And, when we went into camp after that, like, I just sat, like, pretty much a lot all weekend because I was so paranoid that any little quiver I got in my stomach, I was like, I need to sit down. Because I was like, I don't want to fall again, dude. My legs were all bruised up. Like, I was just, like, so paranoid that I was like, thank God I didn't hit my... Oh, I did hit my head. Remember, I had a goose egg.
We did see one the next day.
Yeah. My bangs are down now, but... yeah, I was, like, so paranoid of, like, getting, like, seriously injured. I don't feel like I got that injured. I'm just bruised up, but, yeah.
What's crazy is you say you have, like, 5 memories of no memory at all, because for me it was only, like, 5 seconds of you...
Oh, it felt like hours.
Once you hit the ground, that cop came darting over,
yeah.
And you look over at me and you said, I need my chair.
Don't remember that
So I quickly pulled the chair out, got it out. The cop handed you a bottle, but it was, like, almost gone. So immediately after that...
I don't remember him handing me a bottle, but I do vaguely remember, like, at some point, because I feel like I was looking down, or I was just, it was foggy, my vision was, like, blurry. Someone handed me a bottle, and I remember, like, trying to focus on it, and it was, like, half drinking. I was like, I ain't drinking this.
Yeah.
And I just, like, put it on the ground.
Once I got the chair set up, you sat down, I immediately reached in and grabbed one of our bottles of water for you, because, you know, you needed water.
Yeah.
And it was a Propel, so it had electrolytes in it. I figured that'd be helpful,
Which
too.
I think, because we learned now, like, after we got back, I checked my blood sugar, and it kept saying like code 8, which there was plenty of blood, but it was too diluted. And we learned later that apparently if someone's sugar drops, you don't want to like over drink water, which I think I was so paranoid all weekend that I was like chugging water.
Yeah, because we thought you were dehydrated.
That's what we thought, yeah. And it wasn't until like we got back home, like I had ate a whole bunch of sugar. Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude, I ate so many fucking Andy Mints. And I'm like checking my blood sugar, it's like 80, 75, and I'm like, how can it be this low when I'm like eating whatever the fuck I want?
Right.
So I think that me drinking so much water actually made it worse.
Yeah.
And I will say that it totally did hinder my experience. I loved camp, but it did totally ruin, like, it did hinder it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I missed out on so much because I was sitting a lot.
Yeah.
Or I wasn't, like, in the crowd, like, in the mosh pit and stuff. I'm, like, sitting in the back. Who was the first night? Was it Fun Time Guys?
Yeah. Fun Time performed first
when
night.
my phone overheated.
That would have been day 2 during the Q&A.
Well, the day 1, like, I'm just gonna apologize. That live stream's fucking shit, okay? I was in the back, and I was, like, queasy and, like, getting dizzy, and I was, like, doing one of these things, and I was, like, trying to, like, you know, keep my bearings for the live stream, and I know the camera was shaky. I know I didn't do a good job.
Right. Well, at one point you passed it to me, and I struggled too.
So
it was hot, and I'm like, I was tired, and I was trying to hold it.
I was getting scared that I was going to pass out, and I didn't want to drop my phone and then break that, so I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
So then the next time, we went and got not a gimbal, but like a tripod thing that I could just hold like this. And the other live streams are great. But that first one, I'm just going to say, it was awful, dude. I was so hot. I was so miserable. It was the first day, so I was still like really disoriented. And I kept like having issues. Like my vision was still blurry and it would come and go. And that kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel like it did hinder my experience. And I feel like next year, hopefully, I'll have way more fun. I'll be actually able to get on the dance floor and be more engaged and have more fun. And
I also think, like you said, it hindered it because I know at one point you kept saying like, hey, do you want to go back to the hotel? Maybe
I felt
cool
so
off.
bad that I was like holding you back the whole time.
Yeah.
And you were like so sweet and like, I love you for that. But like, I felt like
it's all good.
Felt like I was holding
like I said, for the first night, I mainly wanted to see Stray, Dirty, and the Fun Time Guys. And I got to see them, and it was fucking great. They all 3 killed it. So, you know, the first day was great.
Once I like...
Aside from all that shit.
Got up off the ground, and we went into camp. We went to the merch line, and I sat the whole fucking time.
I was literally, cute because she would
every 2 minutes, took my chair, scooted, and sat my ass right back down.
It was so funny because, like... There's all of us standing. There's Biggs just little by little scooting forward.
So we get into the merch booth, and I just remember like standing by a fan, and then being like, "Oh my god, something's wrong. I feel like I'm gonna pass out again." And so I left the merch booth.
Yeah, I noticed you dipped out.
I looked at everything. I don't remember a thing in there.
Yeah.
Not one fucking thing.
Yeah, because that shirt right there you went back for.
So when we come out, it was like the next day, someone had this shirt, and they were like, yeah, it's in the merch thing, and I was like, I literally don't fucking remember one thing that was in the merch thing.
Which is crazy, because you pointed it out. You said,
I don't remember any of it.
You pointed out, you said, oh, I like that one. I was like, yeah, that one's pretty cool. And then when we saw it outside, I think Keezy or Chris was wearing it, and you were like, oh, that's really cool.
I think I was just delayed all weekend. Like, I was just on, like, low, internet speed all weekend.
You were buffering because then the next day you saw Shanzi wearing it, and then when you saw it that third time, you're like, oh, that's really cool.
It was Keezy that had it.
I thought he had it the first day.
Keezy showed me what he got, and I was like, that's in there? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was the first day.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the first day.
We went back the second or third day, and I was like more self-aware then, and then I do remember like all the dope ass merch they had. But see, that first day, I took pictures for Instagram of the merch, and I don't fucking remember it. Yeah. I went in there, I took pictures, I looked at everything, I started back out, sat down, I posted them on Instagram so people could see, and I don't remember any of it. Yeah. But I do feel like that held me back a lot, and I think that next year would be even better.
Yeah.
A little traumatized, and I know that it scared you too, and I feel so bad about that because I can't imagine how scary that would have been for you to have to go through that.
Well, I feel like because we are normally over prepared for the gathering, and I felt like we went a little unprepared for this. This is our first year hotel gathering, right?
Yeah.
Last year, halfway through, we left and went and got a hotel at the gathering. But we already had all of our supplies because when we camp, we get extra shit because we don't want to run out. But this time, I think, and I know for me especially, I went in with the mindset, if we run out, we can easily go get more. We literally had 3 or 4 stores nearby. We could just swing by and go get some more water, which, we did have to do. So I think that kind of hindered our mindset a little bit, so we were just a little bit unprepared.
I just think I never expected that would happen to me.
Yeah.
It's something that I've always been there for others, and I've never experienced that, and it was so scary and so traumatizing almost.
It's definitely something for me where, and I feel like the crowd and the environment at camp is definitely, I could see us next year taking a wagon and a cooler and keeping that bitch stocked full of water. And we were safe.
Like, I didn't drive. I actually haven't drove since.
Yeah.
It's been almost a week since I've driven, and I've just been like a little bit overly cautious, I think.
Yeah.
Because when we came back from camp, I had 2 times where like I felt like I was gonna pass out again, but I didn't because I went and laid down right away.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just not quite like I'm just a little scared still.
Yeah. But so yeah, after we got our merch.
Well, you got your merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got my merch the next day or something like that.
We pretty much hung out with the homies from Deck Wendell. Shanzi and Colma were there. We hung out with them. Met up with Gage. Interacted with a couple of the artists. At one point, 8 Legs walked up. I said hi to him. And then Stray walked by. I didn't even recognize Stray. The homie Gage was like, hey, that was Stray. And I bought his CD, so he's like, hey, do you want to have him sign it? I got a marker.
Oh, we should have brought a marker. We're so underprepared.
Gage is like my introvert nudge. Because we've talked about how, like, I just feel uncomfortable approaching artists, I try to be respectful of that,
I love that Gage did that for you, because I felt like I couldn't be your hype person on this event.
Yeah. Because
I was so, like, distraught. But I love that he was like, come on, DC, we're going to go over here and meet this person.
Yeah, so I got Stray to sign it, and I had him sign the disc, because if you know me, I don't really care for autographs on the cover.
I did make you take a picture with Dirty. I was like, listen, he's taking pictures with people. It's not inappropriate for us to go up and get a picture, too.
It was literally the only picture I took with an artist all weekend.
I know, you're such a little introvert.
Not counting the luau picture that they took with everybody, because Zool was in that.
Don't even get me started on that thing. I'm so fucking triggered by that picture.
But it was the only picture I took all weekend, and it was really cool because, it was kind of full circle for me, because Crux One had said I need to check his music out. Yeah. And so I did, and like leading up to camp, I checked his music out, fell in love, watched his set, ended up going and buying his CD, and just Dirty is, I would say, an acquired taste. It's a little bit of rap mixed with country. I would say not as country as Jelly Roll, but I would say a good mixture.
So I heard about him like 2 weeks before camp.
Yeah.
Just someone shared a playlist that he was on, and I was like, this guy, his voice sounds really good. Yeah. So me seeing him at camp was like the first like time I really got to hear his stuff, and I was like, God, this guy's voice is so like I just want him to like do audiobook and bedtime stories and put me to sleep. Like he's got a great voice. And you bought one of his CDs, and I've been listening to that, and I was like, damn, this is actually like some of it is a little too country for me. I'm not gonna lie. But some of it is really good. And it's not, to me, he's not someone I would listen to a whole album. Like, I have a Dirty playlist that I will add my favorite songs. And when I'm in the mood to listen to him, I'll listen to him.
Meanwhile, I've been listening to Broken Strings and Beat Machines, like, on
I
repeat.
haven't heard that album yet.
It's very country sounding, but it's good. But he sings, and he sings his ass off. So, but yeah, so after we got our merch, we kicked it with everybody for a little bit. We did dip out. We went and got something to eat, and that was when you kind of felt immediately better. And that was when we started to think, maybe it was your sugar, because
yeah.
once you ate, you started to feel tons better.
Yeah. And then it would come and go.
Yeah.
I would feel good for like 2 hours, and then I would be back to like just miserable and like needing to sit down, and I just was the whole time, and I just, it sucks because like super famous fun time guys, I didn't get to like get up and dance at all because I was just like dizzy and lightheaded, and my vision kept going in and out.
Yeah.
Ecoside Fiend suggested Gatorade.
We took body armor with us. I prefer body armor.
Yeah, body armor had like a lot of sugar in it, and it didn't do anything for me. And Ecoside Fiend also said that he always has artists sign a poster or whatever. I think that's pretty common. I think DC's just an introvert.
Yeah, it's a partial thing of introvert, and I just don't want to seem like I'm bothering them. You know what I mean?
They're there to meet their fans and engage with them and get to know them.
It's a fair point, yeah. But yeah. So after we ate and let the dogs out, we came back in time to catch Dirty.
Both of our dogs absolutely loved going with us on this trip.
Yeah, they did. They didn't like it so much when we pinned them up and left the hotel. But you could tell that they were having their own little vacation. They got to lay in bed with us, which they don't do that at home.
Whatever they wanted. They got to sleep in the bed every night. They got lots of pets and lovings and attention.
We turned it into a vacation for them, so it was really nice. So, but yeah, we went back to the grounds. We caught Dirty's set, which again he fucking killed it. And then Stray came on and killed it, and then the super famous Fun Time guys,
again, I apologize. That live stream was really bad.
It was such a good
so
set,
bad. It's so bad. I want to delete it, but somebody commented that no one else has posted it and like thank you for sharing it, and I was like,
yeah,
I need to leave it then because
if you wanted to, I will plug him. We met him the last night, but Dan Columbus Underground on YouTube does concert videos. And I do believe his full set. He does them in clips of songs, not a full set. But you can go see all of the songs that super famous Fun Time guys performed over on his YouTube channel. If I remember, I'll link it in the description.
And then day 2 was it we went to Best Buy before camp?
Yeah, but real quick, I want to finish off talking about the super famous Fun Time guys and their set.
Which was amazing, by the way.
I did not expect them to open with positive, and when they did that, I was like, oh shit, they're going to end with I Don't Know, Might Cry Later. But they totally kind of 180'd it on me. Instead, they left off with Soap to Nelf. But seeing the moment Whipstick reached up, pulled his hat and his mask off, I was like, oh, fuck. Was not expecting that. I ended up with instant chills. I've heard people say that they cried during that set.
Yeah, there's a few people in the crowd that were like tearing
I
up.
was in my feels because I've been listening to the ever-loving shit out of that song, and as well as I Don't Know, Might Cry Later. And for anybody who has me on my personal Facebook, a few days prior to camp, I actually updated my profile picture. It's me looking at my reflection, and I quoted Legs' verse off of Soap to Nelf.
What does that song mean to you?
It's when you're feeling like all hope is lost and there's just no point. It's that note to yourself of why you keep going. That things can get better. It's a really fucking deep song. And if you haven't listened to it, first of all, you should go listen to Super Famous Fun Time guys. Their album, I'll Tell You When I Want to Laugh by Laughing, is great. If you only listen to 2 songs off of that album, it would be those 2. But you should definitely listen to the whole thing. They'll tell you don't, but I tell you do. So,
Michelle's here in the chat.
Michelle?
I just noticed she's here.
Oh, yeah. She said, sounds scary for you.
Yeah.
And she also said, hello, everyone. Hey, sounds like you guys had fun. We did.
Yeah.
Violent
She
J.
has been somebody that I've had absolute pleasure getting to know recently. She's a very sweet lady.
Violent J, the Southwest Gangster F says, that's fucking gay. What do you expect from Whip? He's gay. He'd probably agree with you.
Wow.
But yeah, absolutely loved their set. It was absolutely great.
Like, the whole table's bending.
I've seen a lot of people say that was one of their highlights, and it was definitely a highlight for me.
Bending.
I honestly feel like every night was great. Every performer came out and did their thing. And you could definitely tell
Did you hear
that this is like that was their main event.
She's sleeping.
Yeah.
She's dreaming.
It's okay. She's dreaming of camp.
She's so so cute though. Look at her.
I know you're just kidding, Violent J. Then they did the luau party after the Super Famous Fun Time guy set.
Can we talk about how much thought and time went into that luau party? Which I planned Monday. I'm gonna start editing that video.
Okay.
But it was so well organized, so well planned out. I mean, just the thought that went into it alone.
Yeah, they kicked everybody out so they could clean up and decorate the saloon to be luau themed, like how
even the bar pet
Hawaii
was decorated.
Even the what?
The bar pet.
The little coyote.
Yeah, a little taxidermy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. We didn't stay too long. You know, again, we had that very eventful morning. So I was tired. I know she was tired. And it was the first day of the heat, so it was a lot. So we stayed maybe 30 minutes. We were there for the picture. I believe they were giving out pizza.
That was S.O.N's
Q&A
that they gave out pizza.
I just couldn't remember. I thought they had pizza or something for the luau party as well. But they had like balloons and stuff. It was fun. But we ended up dipping out, and we went and we crashed for the night. And then day 2.
Is that the day I went swimming? Day 2?
We both swam day 1 before.
Oh my gosh, that felt amazing. Our hotel had a pool. It was amazing.
No, we swam when we first got there. The first night, on Thursday night, we went swimming. And then we swam again.
It doesn't matter, love.
Sunday.
It just felt nice.
Twice. We went swimming twice.
So the next day we went to Best Buy. We got the tripod thing for the live streams.
Yeah, that was after Jungle Gyms, but yeah.
We went to Jungle Gyms. That was its whole experience.
Yeah.
I got a Jungle Gyms video edited and going live soon. I got a haul pickup from Jungle Gyms, and then I have a shit ton of videos planned of us trying the weird shit that we bought from Jungle Gyms.
Yeah, and we got more planned because we did get a bunch of stuff. Subnoise Soldier says, "What up, DC? How much did I miss? You missed a lot. Well, we will restart.
About halfway through.
We will restart just for you. What up, y'all? DC Fago guy.
I am not restarting that a third time because somebody fucked up the first time.
I did. I fucked up. I played the video, and so when I went live, the video was playing while I was live, so I had to completely close out of YouTube's player.
It was a mess. But anyway, so we go day 2, and that's when I got my merch. And then...
Yep, which you got. Did you get just the shirt, or did you get something else?
I did. I contemplated on a few things, but I went into camp with setting myself a limit of 1 shirt, 1 CD. That's it.
Did the pickups video go live already?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
You should probably put it up after this because I'm gonna plug it.
Everything's a blur. Okay, I don't know. We went to camp. We're back from camp. I'm still adjusting. I'm still like every day. Like I have a little medicine thing, and I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saturday already. Like my mind is just all kinds of.
Everything is definitely kind of.
But yeah, we have
together.
Tons of shirts already. We have tons of CDs. And I just kind of went in with that mindset of I wanted to get the exclusive CD and I want to limit myself to 1 t-shirt.
Yeah. I honestly...
No hoodies, no... I almost got the shorts, but me and Keezy...
The orange ones?
No.
Oh.
Me and Keezy were talking and I was like, I really want to get some basketball shorts, but they're so expensive. And I worry that they're just going to be too long on me.
Yeah.
And then seeing them on his shins, I'm like, oh my god, they'd be down to my ankles on me.
I am wearing them. I originally had spotted Super Famous Fun Time guys had an orange outfit. It was a jersey and shorts, and I loved it. Megs talked me into getting the shorts that I have on now and another pair of shorts, and I'll just kind of show them off if I can. That's the patch right there. That is really fucking sweet. That's like a new logo of theirs, I believe, which is really cool.
Yeah, because you were wanting to get a jersey set, and I said, hey, you have so many jerseys, you can't even wear them now. Let's get basketball shorts. Because these in particular will match the jersey you already had. They'll match Riddle Box. They'll match your other shirts.
Which is why I'm wearing the hat.
And then the other shorts he got were red and black, which will match his Cabal jersey. They'll match the Great Malenko shirt. It's more of a universal wardrobe. Like, consumption isn't everything.
Yeah.
When you have so many jerseys that you literally can't even wear them.
Yeah. But you can head over to my Instagram to see me in this full drip because I took a picture earlier and posted it. But then you can also head over to Megs' channel to see the pickups video.
I'll show my shirt. I gotta go to the bathroom too.
Okay.
This is Goosebumps inspired. If you know, you know.
If you don't know, you kind of know.
But that's supposed to be S.O.N. That's supposed to be 8 legs, whip, and then Azul are these two, and this the third one. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, I saw the orange jersey. I saw the orange shorts. I really wanted them, but honestly I'm happy with what I have now. These shorts are going to be these shorts are really comfy. They're really good. They're comfy. They're cool. They match this jersey. They'll match my Riddle Box jersey. And I'm happy with what I got. And again, you can head over to Megs' channel. I would assume she's got hers up. She's got that video up. And if she doesn't, then definitely in the next day or two, I would say Megs would put it up. But, yeah. Ultimately, I'm happy with what I had gotten. They had really good... Jesus Christ. I'm scatterbrained. I apologize. I lost my co-host. They had a lot of good selections of merch. And when I went to camp, I honestly only had intentions of buying pretty much CDs. I knew I wanted the new Fun Time. I was planning on getting the UGA album, which I did.
For you real quick.
As well as the Stray album I wanted. So, I did fuck up. Thank you for that.
You fucked up.
I was in here fucking scatterbrained and I went blah, blah, live on fucking live stream.
Okay, let's see.
But yeah, when I went, I didn't have plans on getting what I got. I ended up with a white on white Al Zulu shirt. It was the white shield logo for Axe, if you know what I'm talking about. And it's on a white shirt. And I believe if I was told correctly, they sell that at camp every year for their set because they throw blood on the crowd, fake blood.
So the Camp Zool vlog is live. Dirty Concert vlog is live.
Yep.
What's today?
Saturday.
The
29th.
So today was our monthly vlog for June.
Yeah.
So Monday will be the pickup video.
What do you have going on tomorrow?
Low key CD.
Swap them.
I can't.
I would swap them.
I can't.
In the chat right now, what would you rather see? The Low Key album, which you should be,
listen.
because if you're not fucking with Low Key, you're fucking up.
Listen. Listen, Linda. So, if you don't know, last year's gathering, which has been over a year now, right?
Almost.
I don't know. It's been about a year.
In July, it'll be a year.
I was, live streaming at the gathering, and I just, casually noticed. I was like, oh, I've done, a video every day for, a week. And just, lined up like that, because there was just so much content at the gathering and live streaming every day.
Right.
And, doing videos before the gathering. And I was like, I should do that. I should just do that for, a year and just see what happens. So I made the plan. I want to do a video every day for a whole year. And I was like, one, there's no fucking way I'm going to have that much content without it being watered down.
Right.
So I came up with the idea that ever since the gathering last year, I'm going to do a CD video every other day and then something else in between.
Yeah.
And I have stuck to that for almost a year now. I'm not breaking it.
Well, next weekend will be a year.
Well, there you go.
I would dial it back. That's just me. As a creator.
TC, I can't believe.
As a creator, it's because I know.
I can't believe
I
you're saying
know
that.
what the burnout feels like.
I am.
That's all I'm saying.
I am feeling a little bit. I should say I am feeling the burn, but I'm doing good, and I'm holding out. I'm looking at my calendar. I plan ahead, and I'm like, I don't have enough for November and December planned, but we'll see. We got time before then.
Yeah. I would spread it out a little more. You know what I mean? You made it your year. I would dial it back a little.
If I don't finish the year out, in my mind, it's a failure.
Well, you're almost there. Next weekend will be a year. Actually, you said it was every day leading up to the gathering, so you should be at that now.
But in my mind, it's January to December. So in my mind, my end goal is December. I want to do a video every day to finish this year off.
Oh, very ambitious.
2024, a video every single day for the whole year.
Very ambitious.
Hey, I'm almost there. It's July, baby. I got videos planned up until August. I got a whole list of video suggestions I'm planning, okay?
Right on, right on.
I'm almost there. But yeah, it should go live Monday, the pickup video.
Or you can make it unlisted right now and we can link it in the description and only the people watching this can go see it.
That will mess up my whole schedule.
Okay, whatever. Monday is dropping so you guys can see everything that we bought at Camp Zool. So day 2 then, that was... You went and got the shirt that you have.
I got the shirt.
We watched the Q&A for Super Famous Fun Time, guys.
I love the setup of their Q&As. Like, I'm not trying to hate on the gathering, but I prefer that versus some of the seminars.
That's kind of how they used to do it. They don't do them like that anymore. They used to have a microphone go out in the crowd.
Yeah.
And then Jay, Shaggy, and even Twisted when they were there, and Blaze when he was there, they would all get asked questions while they were on stage, and that's how it used to be.
I really liked it. I really liked the setup. And S.O.N had a Q&A, right? He had Pizza Party.
Yep.
Zool had it. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, day 2. And what the fuck else happened day 2? I don't even remember.
Day 2, I don't remember there being too much more after the Q&A. That was when they then sold their CD.
Yes. And then we hung out at that blacksmith shop for like 4 hours.
Yeah, they did TNT Live, which is Tuesday Night Terror. It's Zool's little YouTube stream that they do. But after we got our CD, we just kind of hung out. I didn't want to go in the saloon and watch TNT.
Yeah, we went back to the hotel, let the dogs out, ate dinner, and then came back for... Who played that night?
Zool was that night, but I can't remember who it was we went to go see first.
What's it? I don't remember.
I can't remember my camera.
Oh, Violent J says day 2 was a zebra cake contest. You're right. I do remember that vaguely.
That was actually day 1. That was the very first event they did was the zebra eating contest.
Yeah, I do remember that.
The homie Chris from Deck Wendell partaked in it, but I won't say too much about that. They're doing a recap tomorrow live on their channel, which you should go check out. Go subscribe to Deck Wendell. He'll probably talk about it there. He had a strategy that didn't work. Again, go watch their stream tomorrow.
I decided to sit that one out. I just hung out outside with friends because I was like, I am not about to see someone puke their guts out.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but I was also trying not to go too far from you on that first day.
I'm sorry I scared you.
It's okay. It happens.
It's not okay.
Listen, you apologized so much last weekend.
I feel so bad last weekend.
No more apologies. Stop apologizing. It's okay. It happened. I don't blame you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset at you. I was worried about you.
I'm so triggered next year. Like, I'm not standing in line. I'll wait till that line's gone, then I'll go get in line.
Honestly, that's probably the way to go. But I think...
But somebody the whole time was like, we gotta get in line. We gotta get in line.
Listen,
and we're like, we were all like, bro, it's fine. Like, there's no rush. Like, we gotta go now.
You gotta think. I'm going from previous years being told that they have like reprints of Head of Horns and Psycho, which is Zool's first 2 albums, which is a rare CD to get a hold of. Things like that. And, you know, I had this thought in my head, like, I want to get in there and get something like that before it's sold out. The Gathering also has me triggered with that, because The Gathering is bad about that shit. And you know how the setup is at The Gathering.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm totally fine to wait until after 2 to even go to Camp Zool until the gates are open.
Yeah.
I just did it because I had it kind of, again, that trauma of The Gathering, and I've seen other people say that they get their first thing to go get first pick of stuff.
But they didn't even open the gates, and it was damn near like 45 minutes later than they said. It's a little bit frustrating because we had already been standing so long out in the sun in the parking lot, and then standing in line in the sun. It was a lot.
I would say we got there like 1:15, and they didn't even open the gate until 2:45. So yeah, about an hour and a half.
My biggest thought too is like when that sheriff was like trying to help me, I was like, he's gonna think I'm on drugs. He's gonna think I'm like some.
He didn't. I don't think
you don't know that.
I don't think you did.
You don't know that.
He was young. But yeah, day 2, I can't remember. So yeah, it was TNT. We didn't watch that, and then.
Can we just bring it up?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, I can.
I think we hung out for a little bit then at the picnic table near where Funtime was selling their CD. It was like a blacksmith shop that they had there. And then eventually we decided to go ahead and head back, get something to eat, let the girls out. because by then it was going on 5.
We missed the meet and greet Friday.
Yeah.
It was Stray, Dirty, and then we missed Buckshot.
Oh, that was Friday night? Buckshot was Friday night, that's right. We sat outside
and
for
then
that.
after Fun Time Guys, it was the secret zombie luau theme party.
Yeah, the LLE party.
Saturday was Fun Times, Q&A, TNT, Insane E, Shy One. Then Zool went on at 9:45 at night. Then we went to the Killer Karaoke.
Oh yeah, the karaoke.
And then after that was a VIP Buried Experience.
Which they kind of overlapped, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then Sunday was a scavenger hunt, Axe Q&A, Sun Q&A. They had some performers, and then S.O.N went on about 10. And then they had a mystery performance after that, which if you haven't seen, I did live stream that bitch. And it was the best fucking set of the whole night.
You thought so? That's pretty good. Yeah. The last
Probably
like
because I was the most cognitive. I don't know, but it was a good set, okay? I thoroughly enjoyed the show.
The Long Live Evil set, they did a lot of Lost Lake Estates. They did a couple of the songs that featured S.O.N as well. Loon Squad was there. Violent J, the Southwest Gangster Row. We didn't watch it though. And that kind of brings me back to like when we went, we were a little bit out of practice of like how we needed to do things for our dogs and how to better see everything we wanted to see. Because there was a point where we would leave at like 5 o'clock, go let our dog out, get something to eat, and then come back for the sets we wanted to see. So there was things that we had to miss out on. And so if there's ever, if next year they have a lineup that's like back-to-back things that I want to see, then I think our plan is to wait later in the day to go. That way our dogs get let out.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
You're right.
You're absolutely right. And like next year we're totally going to do a different schedule to let them out. But one thing that we never touched on in the pickup video that I wanted to touch on here is the lanyards that we got.
Oh, yeah.
These clips, the Carabiner clips, or whatever you call them, to clip on your lanyard, are so nice quality. Like the Gathering one is like this cheap metal one that could like easily break. And so is this Star Wars one that I have. And your Tech 9 one and your other VIP one.
Yeah.
But your Camp Zool number 2 lanyard and this year's camp is like really good quality lanyard.
Well, and normally the Gathering has these little bead necklaces for theirs. And I can't wear them. They make my neck break out because I'm allergic to the nickel that's in them. I get a real bad rash on my neck.
What is a Hot Topic Charms thing?
But yeah, Subnoise Soldier with that $2 super chat. Thank you for that, by the way. Any chance you could show your Hot Topic charms? I don't have any Hot Topic charms.
You have the Hatchet Man.
That's not Hot Topic. I have a Hatchet. Yeah, I have a Hatchet Man charm.
Where's my Hatchet Girls from?
That might be from Hot Topic.
I do have a Hatchet Girl from Hot Topic, but I think she's upstairs. I actually painted her with nail polish, and I highly recommend that because you can remove that shit pretty easily and repaint it whatever fucking color you want.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Kung Fu Vampire pendant, a Strange Music Snake and Bat pendant. I don't even know
like
where
I've repainted your Hatchet Man's right there.
Is it? I was gonna say, I don't even know where my Hatchet Man is. This Hatchet Man I got back in 2008.
And I actually painted that with nail polish too because it was tarnishing.
I got this back in 2008. I literally went and sold my PSP and all the games I had for it. Went to GameStop, sold it because they put these up on Hatchet Gear. And so that day I went sold my PlayStation Portable, all the games I had for it just to get this charm.
How much was that charm back then?
$100, I think.
What? And it tarnished and I had to paint it with nail polish because it tarnished?
Yeah. Listen.
God damn.
2008, that was full proud, Jolo.
Yeah.
Had to rep a hatchet every single day no matter where I went.
Oh, my cheap little Hot Topic one. I have took acetone and took that nail polish off, I bet you probably 23, 24 times. I painted it all different colors, and when I soak it in acetone and remove it, like, it's still shiny underneath, and, like, it's still in good condition.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
but yours, I don't know, it's pretty tarnished.
So yeah, on the second night, what all artists did you say performed?
Well, hold on, sugar.
You're fixing to right now.
The second night,
Yeah.
it was Biokillers,
Okay.
Sinister, Nasty Inc., Apollo, McNasty, Keegan, S.O.N., and then the mystery concert.
No. What was Saturday night?
Ah, sorry.
That was Sunday night.
TNT Live, 5x5, Insane E, David, Shy One, Diabolic, The Hooligans, Axe, and that was it.
Okay. So when we left, I believe 5x5 had just taken the stage. And when we came back was when I believe Dave Packard was on stage. So we didn't...
Did you want me to like hold that up to the camera?
I mean, you can if you want to.
Oh, I think the clips broke on it too. That's why you don't wear it anymore. The clasp.
Oh, and one of them. It might have been the Strange Music one, maybe.
Your Killjoy Club one. Did you get that from Hatchet Gear?
I think you got it off eBay for me.
Oh, maybe.
No, this clasp still works pretty well. Oh, no, this is the broken one. You're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the broken one.
Which I got this chain from
You have
Mob
to show
Style.
both sides so they can like actually see the tarnish.
Oh, camera's over here. You can see it's kind of like... looks
that side's
almost
painted. I painted
sparkly.
that side.
That's got nail polish on it. And then there it should have the stamp of the year, which I think was 2007 when they had them made. But they didn't put them on the site until 2008. But yeah.
My Hatchet Girl's thinner than that one. It's not like a thick metal.
I never really wear this anymore.
You should. You should wear it.
Because of jewelry, you know. I don't wear a lot of jewelry anymore besides my
neither
wedding
one of
ring.
us do. But you know what? Though, like having these lanyards and shit, I can't stand a bunch of stuff on my neck.
Yeah. Well, I have lanyards for my keys, but I normally, as soon as I get to where I'm going, it comes off my neck and then gets put away. But yeah, we didn't watch a lot of the artists on day 2. We more or less just hung out with homies and friends until Zool took the stage, and then we watched them, which was a great fucking set. They played a lot of the tracks off of Head of Horns Over Halo. Gods of Evil Rise. That's the name of their new album. They have a song on there called Horns Over Halos, so I don't know where I was going with all that shit. But yeah, they played a lot of songs off of the new Mikey Clark album, which was fucking dope. Really great set. Fucking a lot of blood, fake blood everywhere. It was really cool.
Yeah,
a lot of people's shoes got dyed pink because of that.
It was just, I think it was like cherry Kool-Aid because that's all I could smell.
Yeah. But it was cool. Fake blood. Fake blood. So yeah, then after that they did the karaoke as well as the...
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun to watch. I wish we could have stayed later, but like I was really struggling.
Yeah, we were hanging outside of the saloon, kind of waiting to see if they were gonna let people go watch the VIP experience, watch people get buried alive. But once someone came by and said no, then we hung out at least a little bit until the karaoke started. Watched a couple people sing, and let me just say, Robbie from Do It for the Underground, he sang. What's the fucking song that Matchbox 20 has? I wanna push you around. Well, I will. Well, I will.
That's really good.
He sung that really good. Like, his name's Robbie, and the lead singer of Matchbox 20 is Rob Thomas. I'm thinking maybe they're distant relatives of each other.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. Anybody that gets up and does karaoke in front of a room full of people like that, fucking props to you.
Fucking hats off to you, because...
Yeah.
Megs was like, "Are you gonna sing something?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not singing."
I would do it with you.
Listen, if we took alcoholic beverages with us and drank in the parking lot before walking in, I might sing. So next year, that's something we'll have to do if I'm gonna get up and sing.
Well, we should practice first.
Like, we'll take the makings for a White Russian with us next year.
No, that's too fucking much. Dude.
Leave them in the car. Yeah. But yeah, the karaoke was really cool, and then, like you said, we were tired, so we ended up going back to our hotel and kind of crashing. And then day 3 was actually a rainy day that day. That morning was rainy, which was nice because it made it much cooler.
And we packed ponchos this year.
Yeah, we did. Learning.
Yeah.
So we ended up going and watching the Axe Q&A. You did live stream that.
I did with
that
the
was
tripod.
Really good. We watched the S.O.N. Q&A, which that seemed more of like a seminar than a Q&A, I felt.
I still enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
I really enjoyed Axis Q&A.
Yeah.
Like
Axis
just
was good, yeah.
learning about like their up and coming projects and their mindsets and what they're thinking about, and like I really enjoyed that.
Dude, the place erupted. You go back and watch your stream or watch any of the footage of it.
Yeah.
When they gave their shout out and gave the props to Low Key, the fucking place erupted. And that was so cool to see, knowing that he's kind of that seed that grew into.
Well, what was the part that you whoop whooped? Because if you go back and watch it, you will hear one guy, yelling randomly whoop whoop. That was DC out of nowhere.
I forget the question they got asked, but somebody was asking them a question, and they were basically just talking about the scene in general, and how like they don't see juggalos or zooligans as a dollar sign, and how they've been down the same path as us, being juggalos themselves, so they want to give, they just want to take care of the scene, and they want to try to rebuild the scene because they're not very happy with how it is now. And towards the tail end of them, with Billy saying that, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I was like, whoop whoop, and I'm the only person who did it. I got left high and dry, and I just sat there. I was like, well, I feel stupid now, but it felt appropriate.
Michelle says that she has jerseys, but the arm lengths are always too long. Do you feel like that arm length is shorter, the one that you have?
Well, did she say her arm length or the jersey's arm length? I feel like these are perfect. I love football jerseys. Hockey jerseys are not for me.
These are like tethered or whatever you call it. Sleeve, like that might be better because I'm only 5 foot, so I have the same issue with pants, and it's called jogger style pants, and that just means that the ankles are like tethered, so they won't be as long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that style because it's not your double dragon, it's the gold one you have.
Ringmaster?
No, it's Kung Fu. Fuck, what is that? It's a gold and red. It's not double dragon, but it's...
I don't have a gold and red one.
Yeah, you do, because I wore it on Jersey Day at work.
That would have been double dragon then.
Maybe it was.
It's the only orange one I have.
That one has sleeves like that, and I feel like as a woman, that it actually fit me really good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ever wear your long sleeve ones with it. That would drive me crazy.
So there is a difference. There's a hockey jersey. Those are typically long sleeve.
Yeah.
And then there's football jersey. That's what this is. It's usually short sleeved. And then basketball jerseys are usually sleeveless, like a tank top.
So
basketball
I guess
jerseys are okay. They're not my preferred. As a woman,
you'd want a football jersey then.
Absolutely. I would, if ever you're going to go shopping for a jersey and it says hockey jersey, just know that that's going to be long.
Yeah.
Because I know how you feel, Michelle. I used to have a walking home hockey jersey. I ended up selling it because I just didn't like it. It was too long, and it was white, so I was like, I already stained it one time. I got a little bit of dirt on the back, so I was like, this is not something I'm practically going to wear.
And I felt like when I wear hockey jersey, I feel like bat wings. Like,
yeah.
I feel like when I go like this and it goes past my wrist and I can't grab anything, that's a problem.
Yeah, football jerseys are definitely the way to go. They're the most comfortable, I feel. Basketball jerseys aren't terrible. And then if ever you see one that's a baseball jersey, it's more like a button-up work shirt, but it's short sleeve too. So they're also comfy. I know the homie Gage prefers those. But yeah.
I think I prefer football, to be honest.
Yeah, football jersey's always been my favorite. It's the most comfortable. And of course, always size up. If you wear a 2X shirt, get a 3X jersey.
Yeah, jerseys are, especially like on women, I feel like they're tight on the chest area.
Yeah.
And like always too big on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like this one. This one fits really good, but it's like a lot of extra here.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
But so yeah.
You can shrink them a little bit in the dryer, so.
So yeah, day 3 was the Axe seminar, which was great. S.O.N. seminar,
it was such a good seminar.
His was more of a seminar where he kind of gave some motivational speeches, and then he had pizza for everybody. Prior to his Q&A. They also did have Do It for the Underground up just to kind of introduce Legion Realm, which is kind of like his, I guess you would say, team. It's a collaborative of like artists, YouTubers, online personalities that he's kind of just putting his stamp on. It's not like a record label or anything like that, but it's people he's working with and he's backing and he's kind of putting his stamp on. So that was that as well, which was really cool. The homie Luke the Goon was up there, so I had to go find him and have a chat with him. We had a little good conversation. It was great getting to meet him in person. So yeah, and then after that, I think we just went out and we kind of hung out with Shanzi and Coma, and I know Biokillers went on. We kind of heard them. V Sinister was on. We kind of heard them. And I'm trying to think. There was one other artist that performed on day 3 that performed.
I did
while
want to
we were
share,
outside.
in case people were interested, tickets were only $50.
Yeah, per day. So for a 3-day weekend pass, it was like $125. So for Megs and I to both get a weekend pass for all 3 days, it was $250, maybe a little bit more with tax, which was still less than one gathering ticket. I think gathering tickets after fees and all that were $260 for one ticket.
If you got the VIP, not only did you get the VIP experience of being buried alive, but you also got one forever face mask, an 8x10 signed flat poster, a hat pin, and a patch.
Wow. Patch is a houlihan. Yeah, we hung out with Shanzi and Coma for a little bit. The homies from Deck Wendell came up. Robbie, Rob Agony, Mike Spawn, Sidward, Gage, they all came and we hung out with them for a few minutes before we headed out to go get something to eat, let the dogs out. And then I believe we came back just in time for Zool, or just in time for S.O.N.
I also want to recommend, if anybody has some free time, go to Camp Zool. That's campsul.com. Go over to the info area and read the rules because they are absolutely hilarious. And like the way that they like put the rules up here like must have took so much fucking time. It is just epic. Like I just love how they like wrote things.
You gonna read one?
Like, okay, so one of the questions is, can I bring my pet to Camp Zool? And the response is no. Pets are not allowed at Camp Zool, and please keep your pet grandma at home also.
They're always, Zool's always funny.
What time do I have to leave camp? 11 a.m. June 24th, you will be kicked the fuck out of camp. Pack your shit up and beat it, no exceptions.
Which, I mean, is fair. Checkout at most hotels is 11.
Will there be electricity at the campsites? Only the static electricity you can generate from your hairy ass caveman back, aka no, there's not going to be electricity.
Yup.
Are kids allowed? Yes, sorta, but you must keep them on a leash. Just kidding. Children are allowed, but only if they're well-behaved little gremlins. Like all of the questions are just hilarious to me. Like I just think it's like it must have took so much time. And
Michelle asked, were there crazy fireworks? No.
There were fireworks, but just one night there was these kids lighting off like really little ones, and they maybe like 5 minutes, and someone came over and like took them from them. So
yeah, there's no crazy mortars like at the gathering. There's not a huge amount of drugs being taken. I didn't see one nitrous canister at Camp Zool the whole time we were there. There was people smoking pot. You could smell it. There were people drinking. That was the full extent of all the drug use and shenanigans we saw. Right. Like, it was very chill and very mild compared to the gathering. Like, way dialed back than the gathering.
No, I would say they were just lighting off like bottle rockets and stuff, but yeah. I think that maybe 5 minutes went by and someone came out and took it from them. So,
yeah. Which was cool because like, you know, we had a bad experience at the gathering last year from that shit. People trying to blow us up.
Which we met somebody at camp this year that said, it broke my heart. It broke my fucking heart. He said that last year gathering at the Juggalos was his first year ever at the gathering, and somebody was lighting off mortars by the camping area and caught his tent on fire and burned everything. Which is something we were fearful happening to us. And that was his first gathering, y'all. That's fucking heartbreaking. Yeah. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yep. What a horrible, horrible experience.
Yep.
So.
But yeah, then day 3 we went back. We caught S.O.N set, which was I would say very entertaining. It was supposed to be the first ritual for his new album, The Bastard Son. It was a birthing ritual for King Umbra, which is the character of the Bastard Son. Very similar to the Joker cards. It's the Council of Nine. If there's a whole lore there you can jump into. I don't want to dive into it too much here. But yeah, after that, we met up with everyone we wanted to say goodbye to. And then we, headed to our hotel to close out camp, which, I don't know if there's much more you want to say, but I do kind of want to run through and give shout outs as much as I can for everyone that I can remember. There was a lot of people we interacted with, but Shanzi, Coma, Robbie from Do It for the Underground, the homie Gage, the homie Keezy, the homie Chris from Deck One Dealt, Mike Spawn, Shmeev from Juggalo Judgment, great podcast that they do together. What was the one guy's name that was friends with Shanzi and Coma? With the tall hat, what'd they say his name was? Sturgis.
Yeah, and
Shout
Jared was there.
Jared was there, which crazy. The last time we saw Jared was when we first met him at Gathering 17.
Yeah, long time.
The last night at Gathering 17 is when we met Jared. He was walking around with a boot on because he had broke his ankle at the gathering, and so we were trying to help him and offer him a seat and stuff like that. And did he have water, things like that. So it's crazy that our first gathering and his first gathering, we met.
Yeah.
And then he kind of got to usher us in for our first camp. It was really cool. So shout out to Jared, of course. 8 Legs I got to interact with. Stray, Dirty, Whipstick for a minute. Shout out to Mike. I'll just leave it at that. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then you probably don't need to know.
The guy that gave us the CD, I'm pretty sure your name was Mike. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for the free CDs.
Somebody said something about, I think he said his name was Ogre. That's his stage name.
I did my little, stalker thing, and I found him on Instagram.
Oh.
I messaged him because I wanted to plug a link where people can buy that CD, and I have not heard back from him. So I've already got the video edited, and I'm planning to just go ahead and upload it probably next week sometime. And then if he ever gets back with me, I'll put it in then. But I wanted to plug their shit because not only was the music on that CD good, it was made well. It was good quality CD. When you pop it into iTunes, it fucking had all the information already up. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Nothing I hate more than having to hand type that shit into iTunes.
Right.
But it was just so well quality made. I'm like, this was not something cheap. And, he was handing them out for free at camp. And, just shout out to you, man, because you just sharing that freshness and sharing that love is just, so dope. And I want you to know that I thoroughly enjoyed the CD. I did a review with audio samples. And I'd like to be able to plug where people can buy it. But I haven't heard back from him.
Yeah, maybe eventually he'll read it because it probably went into, the pending message thing.
Or maybe we'll see him at camp next year and get his information then. But, yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to think. The one guy that you said his tent got blown up, I think he said he had a YouTube channel called Vivillion, but I can't remember. But there was him. I met Dan Columbus, Bile and his wife, the ones that were standing behind us. We met him at Axmas. He gave me all the little stickers. I'll show you a picture. It'll strike your memory.
I don't remember any of that.
But shout out to them, and I think that's everybody. Lee Carver, I got to say what up to Lee Carver. We exchanged very poorly a handshake because
I have to share the whole licking the beard story because it was so epic. He thought one of the Axe members had said something about licking DC's beard. And he goes up and he says something to him about it. And I remember him giving me that weird look. And
that was Lee.
And, But then afterwards you found out it was the wrong guy you said that to?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the right guy. The last night of camp, Gage was like, hey, do you want to go say something to Joey Black? He's right over there. We went over. He's like, hey, man, if I didn't have my mask on, you and I would be identical. So I assumed he recognized me because I've heard him shout me out on TNT before. So, we carried on a conversation. He looks at me and he goes, what was your name? And I was like, oh, and I said my name, and that was it. And I was like, I don't think you.
So, okay, from our perspective, we thought you said it to the wrong guy.
Mm.
So when Gage pulled you over, we were all like laughing, like, oh my god, that was the guy that said it?
Oh, wrong guy.
And so I was like, oh my god, that guy must think you're so fucking weird that you like went up and said something about looking at your beard. He had no recollection of like what that was from.
Nah, different person. Subnoise Soldier said licking the beard. There was a live stream that Allah Zululu did a week before camp, and Lee Carver saw my name in the chat, and he said at Camp Zul he was going to find me and he was going to lick my beard. So that was why when I saw Lee Carver, I walked up to him. I said, "Hey man, you don't want to lick my beard. It tastes like lotion." So, but yeah, I think that's everybody.
I love that like everyone was just like walking around, hanging out together. It was just really nice.
Yeah, I think that was everybody that we really interacted with. And if I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize. It was very busy, very hot, and I've slept since then.
And we also got to meet a lot of people that we don't remember your names. Like, there was this really sweet girl. Oh, I fucking forgot to put that in the pickup video. Oh, I'm so mad.
Is that the 5x5?
No. The girl that gave me the keychain.
Oh.
She came up. She gave me a hug. She was like, "You are so beautiful. Here." And it was like this little, like, goodie bag. And I was like, "What's this for?" She's like, "It's just something I made." And it was like a keychain and stuff. I was like, "Oh," I said, "Do you have like a Instagram or Etsy? Like you sell these, you make these that I could like plug for you?" And she's like, "No, I just do it for fun and I just give them out at camp." I was like, "Well, are you selling them?" Like, she's like, "No, I just give them to the women. It's just something special for the women at camp."
That's cool.
And I was like, "That is so sweet." And it makes me want to like go do something.
Yeah.
Something like that for not the same thing, but something,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I can give away Goosebump books. No, but like it was just so sweet, and like she gave me a hug, and it was just like, "Aw."
Yeah, that was cool.
There wasn't a lot of women there, so it was like kind of like a special thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because there was that one moment where like you guys were all talking about bidets,
Yeah.
and this complete stranger walks up. He's like, "You guys talking about bidets?" And like jumped in the conversation, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like contemplating. I'm like, how the hell did I get myself in a situation where I'm standing in this group of like 12 men, just listening to the most in-depth, oversharing, detailed conversation about men's assholes and bidets. And I'm just like, just listening to all, and I'm like, how did I get here? Why am I still standing here?
Nah, it was all fun though.
No, it was so funny, and I was laughing so hard, but occasionally I would like glance over at people walking by and the looks that our group was getting, or just people walking by like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Also, I did say what up to Buckshot. S.O.N. came up and said what up to me. There was one guy in the merch booth in the Emporium of Evil who was talking to me about Sink or Float, but I didn't catch his name. So shout out to you.
Someone suggested they like to pass out crystals to people with little inspiring messages on that. I love that. I think fortune cookies would be a good idea too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's really nice.
But yeah, I think that was.
I had a train of thought, and I can, because pass out crystals.
Bye-bye.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I know, but Michelle asked, who was your favorite performer at camp?
I'm gonna give you two because I want to go with.
You can only pick one. She didn't say who was your favorite. She said who was your favorite.
Well, because I was gonna give you LLE and non-LLE that was there. My favorite performance, I'll say that, was probably the Long Live Evil set.
The last night.
The very last night after S.O.N.
Why did you act so surprised when I said that?
What?
That was my favorite set.
I guess I just was surprised. I didn't think... I figured maybe you would have liked Super Famous Fun Time Guys the most.
No, last night was my favorite.
Their set was fucking epic. Everyone that closed out at each night, Fun Time Guys, Zool, and S.O.N., all great shows. Absolutely killed it. And like I said,
I know what I was gonna say now.
it was definitely their main event.
It clicked.
Okay. Cook away.
So the zombie luau was like, I don't want to say secret luau, but it was like a surprise thing. Not everybody knew about it.
Like, it was advertised as the LLE after party.
Yeah. So I went out and bought a bunch of
Lays?
And because I didn't know like how many people were prepared for it, so I went out and bought a bunch of Lays and then just handed them out all night long. I'm like, you don't have something here. You don't have one here. And then the guy with the tall hat, I seen he posted a picture and like he still has his lei on his hat, and I was like, I got to contribute to that hat. Like, yes.
Sturgis, yeah.
And you go look at his old videos, he has like smaller hats with patches, and it's just like the hat just keeps getting bigger. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I wonder if he's gonna eventually like get a bigger hat. You know, when that one gets full.
Maybe, might have to. But yeah, the Long Live Evil set was probably my favorite. They did Lost Lake Estates. Everyone got to share the stage, and it was almost like to me it was kind of like a grand finale.
Yeah.
Because it was all of them together. Like, they each performed each night, and then they did a set together.
I want to do a Goosebumps swap meet where we just all trade like one book.
There you go.
And also, my other idea about what's it called? What was the idea I had about around the campfire?
Oh.
Trauma sharing.
Yes.
Something like that. Where we just all sit around a campfire, we all take turns just fucking spewing your guts out into that fire. And then you just like, and go the next person.
Yeah.
Like AA, but like, to like, because we were joking that.
Camp therapy.
Like, well, yeah, that's what I was joking is like, camp and the gatherings, it's like very therapeutic for me. And it's like a way to kind of like escape and get away for a little bit, and then you're just so glad to come back home and get in your own bed and everything. And I was kind of joking, like, it kind of would be cool because it's like camp. If we like all sat around the campfire and had like a meeting, that would be cool.
Yeah, it would. But yeah, all in all, absolutely fucking loved camp.
Also, Juggalos in Recovery, I don't know if you know that group.
Yeah.
They're at the gathering every year. I personally reached out to them. I was like, hey, who's going to camp? Because I was going to like volunteer to help maybe host something.
Yeah.
Like a sober station or a sober area or something like that. Or whole, like a meeting or something. And they commented back. Someone commented back. Didn't camp already happen?
Huh.
And I was like...
Yeah.
So there was no presence of like a meeting of some sort, but that would be something I would be down to like host or something as a some sort of like meeting like that.
It would be
mental
cool.
Health.
It would be cool to see them broaden a little bit and actually
Yeah.
cover more of underground events than just the main gathering.
They do a lot of good work at the gathering. Like they provide a safe place that's drug and alcohol free for people to come and be safe and.
And you know what? The gathering is the place for that, I guess. A camp really doesn't need one because people are respectful and know their limits and, you know.
Maybe we need to talk to S.O.N about hosting something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Some kind of mental health, like, group activity.
Yeah.
Spiritual, like, not religious, but like, you know.
He has like a secret thing. They met one of the nights there. But yeah, they have like a group.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think it's important to check in with people because I think a lot of people are struggling, and a lot of people bury and suppress what they're dealing with.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, absolutely fucking loved camp. My chances of going back are like 99.9. If it's at Terror Town, which from my understanding they have no plans of going anywhere else, so it'll probably always be there. I'd love to see it move maybe just a little bit to earlier in the year, maybe late May, early June. See if that's just a little bit cooler. But all in all, absolutely loved it. The only thing that I really had any complaints of, and it was completely out of Zool's hands, was the fucking heat. You know, and then maybe a little bit more activities during the daytime.
Yes.
That way,
more activities during the day.
Yeah. But, you know, all in all, as it is, I still had a lot of fun. And if next year they don't add new activities to the day, I'll still go and I'll still be happy because, again, Cincinnati is so close. You can go do something the morning of.
Like, we actually didn't have enough time to do that. Like, we had planned to go do something like every day.
Yeah. And
we didn't have enough time. So I think the way that they have camp planned right now is perfect.
Yeah, it is. And from here, they can only build onto it. So if you're hesitant about going to camp, that has been our experience. But, also we did have to leave quite a bit to go take care of our dogs. So, for you, you may not have to do that, and you can see more acts. And I know Timmy had said something earlier. I'm sorry. Echo Side Fiend had said something earlier about if the lineup had more acts he would want to see. I honestly would say, if you're still watching, you should come to next year's camp, because I think that would be the perfect place for us to sit down and play that game of Quest for Shangri-La you've been wanting to play.
And if there's not enough acts too, like there's always day passes you can get.
Yes, they do sell day passes. So you could
go down, go to the Cincinnati Zoo, go to the museums. There's lots of local themed bars. There's one that's like I wanted to go to, but we didn't get a chance to, where it's like an old firehouse, and they still have like the memorabilia in there. You could go do things the other days and then just get a day pass for whatever day of the concert that you really want to see.
Yeah. So if you aren't able to go to the gathering because it's too expensive, or it's not quite your vibe or your scene anymore, head over to camp and experience it one of these times.
Why does the gathering not have day passes? That bothers me.
I don't know.
That needs to be a thing. Someone needs to make that a thing.
It might. I don't know. I heard maybe they sell discounted tickets on the last day, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really know. But yeah, if the gathering is just getting too expensive for you, or if you just feel like the scene is there's too much drugs, there's too many fireworks, and you're just not vibing with that anymore, come to camp. It's totally dialed back, and it's honestly, I feel all the good that the gathering has. When everyone I hear say that they go to the gathering to hang out with family, that's at camp. There is family at camp, and if you go there not knowing anybody, you'll probably leave having some new homies. So I would say it's worth experiencing if you're curious, and if you're not curious, but you want to go to a Jolo event, camp is a good one. So I put my stamp of it's a good event. It's
Your
totally
stamp
worth
of
it.
approval.
My stamp of approval. I had a lot of fun, and will definitely be going again.
I'm excited to go next year because it's going to be even better.
Yay!
Now I know actually like what to expect and what to pack and what not to pack. And
games. Definitely games.
And a canopy and our extra camping chairs.
Yeah.
We did last minute decide to pack double the amount of outfits, which was actually really nice because we changed halfway through the day.
Yeah. And we actually brought back clean clothes, so we perfectly planned for that part of it.
Yeah, I always pack like 1 or 2 days extra clothing because you never know, like if you get stranded or your car breaks down or something.
Yeah. But yeah, and Megs will have a pickup video dropping on Monday. Mm-hmm. I have my Super Famous Fun Time guys. They wouldn't let us film here review that I would like to review.
Mine's
film it
up.
In the next few days.
Mine's up with audio samples.
You have one up already, and you can go pre-order that album right now. So if you want to hear a sample of the songs, you can check out her video.
Yeah, go check that out and make sure it's like your vibe first. And that's kind of why I do this audio samples. I don't really talk as far as a review. I let DC do that, but. Right. I do the audio samples. People can kind of get a feel for what they're buying first.
Yeah. My review will feature samples as well. So I'm going to try to play different parts of the songs than what you did.
That'd be a good idea.
So that way there's, you get more kind of the songs and get a real good feel for it. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we head out?
I really enjoyed it. And I feel like my experience could have been better. And so I'm hopeful that next year it's going to be better. I'm going to make it better.
We're going to better prepare for next year so that it goes without any hitches at all. And that to me is like a testament of it, is even though we had hiccups, I still had a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun.
Like even with our hiccups, I enjoyed camp better than the worst parts of last year's gathering. Like the whole firework thing and having to leave fucking put a huge speed bump in last year's gathering for me.
It is because we always camp at the gathering and have never had
issues like that.
Such a horrible experience. Like, we've had issues. Like, you're going to get that. You're going to have noisy neighbors. It's just part of the gathering. It's not something to not expect. But this last year was by far the worst that we've ever encountered as far as neighbors and just awful camping experience, and not just our neighbors, but there was more to it than that. And I'll never camp at gathering again because it ruined our whole day.
We left Super Gathering, the 2019 gathering, 20th anniversary. We left that one hesitant because of the shenanigans that happened. You know, them setting porta potties on fire, burning the picnic table. Like, we left that
But they weren't near our campsite.
We left that wondering, how much longer are we going to come? And then after what happened last year, I pretty much left that like, I don't know if I want to come back.
It did really bother me at the Super Gathering. What bothered me the most, like, yes, blowing the porta potties up with mortars did bother me. But when they took handmade wood park benches and threw them into a bonfire, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because I know as a woodworker, somebody took the time to make that, and it was not cheap to buy that lumber and to pay someone to build it. And maybe they bought it already built, and that was even more expensive. And they just threw them all on the fire, and that utterly pissed me off so much.
Yeah. The
utter disrespect. Like, you guys can have a bonfire, but damn, have some boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then blowing up the porta potties was scary because we were walking by when they blew one up. They had blown one up, and like we were walking by after, and some guy said that he was like one or two porta potties like away, and like it rocked him, and he was like scared that it was gonna tip over, and I was like, you guys are blowing up porta potties and you didn't even check to see if someone's in the next one over? Like, what?
An absolute disregard. But yeah, let's leave it on a high note. Camp, absolutely
Camp was
great.
good. We're planning to go next year, hopefully.
Going back for sure.
Hopefully.
Possibly Night of the Zooligans. Echo Side Fiend, come with us. We'll show you around.
You don't need to go to Hollow Wicked. Just come with us.
He could still do both. If Night of the Zooligans is in the beginning of October, he could totally do
Actually,
both.
Timmy, if you took a plane down to Cincinnati, we could pick you up from the airport, go to the Zooligan thing, and then drop you back off to go to Hollow Wicked.
Yeah. Michelle said that 2019 was her last gathering. Yeah.
What year was that?
2019. That was the one where they blew up the porta potties.
Oh shit, you were at the Super Gathering? Small world.
Yeah.
Small fucking world.
But yeah, so if you went to camp, tell me down below what you liked about camp. What were your peaks and your pits? And if you've never been, tell me down below. Has your interest gone up at all? Anyway, thank you guys for watching.
We'll see you next time.
See you guys next time.